WMDX, 92.7 FM, 1580 AM. If you're still looking around the radio dial for those frequencies, we'll keep reminding you. Pull up the Civic Media app and check it out there. We can get your texts and phone calls from the app. It's very easy. Just hit the button. That's it.
Yeah. We've got a phone number, too. It's 608-879-8255.
Or 879-TALK.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. It's Monday morning. It's the John and Gordy Show. Rise and shine, shake a leg, up and at 'em. Top of the morning to you. How's it going?
I'm a little afraid.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm a little afraid this morning.
What are you afraid of?
I hate mornings and trying to get back into the swing of the morning show.
Especially Mondays.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough talking, trying to get the words out.
It seems like it was a long weekend. But
it's the same here.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
But
it did.
I don't know why, but I'm a little slow to get going this morning.
You think Biden dropping out was maybe made the weekend a little bit longer and longer and longer?
Well, maybe.
Oh, my God.
Maybe, yeah. That I just happened to have, MSNBC and CNN on.
At the time? They announced it?
And at the same time, I'm scrolling through X.
Yeah.
And then it popped up on X first. And then it hit CNN and MSNBC.
Wow.
Biden's letter,
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah,
I had to do a double take. I was like, what? Wow. Okay. But
see,
it really took over. It took over the airwaves all yesterday afternoon and last night, and yeah.
That's a story you can tell your kids. Oh wait, they're older.
They're older.
They were probably watching TV too.
Yeah.
Well,
my son doesn't watch TV.
Oh, he does?
No.
Oh.
I don't think he even has a TV.
What?
Yeah, he's a musician. He has the internet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. He's on there.
He's on that, but yeah, he doesn't watch a lot of TV.
TV is old-fashioned.
Well,
I think my kids don't watch TV either.
He'll watch an occasional thing about like wrestling. About the old days of WWF. The Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
and,
the best time. Best time for wrestling.
Macho Man.
That's oddly specific.
Well, and he watches these documentaries about those guys because, boy, were they all a troubled bunch, that early WWF.
But the thing is, you encouraged him, right? I mean, you took him to some of the WWF events here in Madison, right?
I did, yeah, at the what they used to call the Dane County Coliseum, now the Alliance Center.
I went there myself.
Yeah,
for
WWF?
Yeah.
I think we saw the Ultimate Warrior there one time, and then another time, I can't remember. I don't know. Andre the Giant.
It really was. It was an event, and it was fun to do. And you know what?
Kind of like a circus. Almost.
You know what the best part of going to this was watching the other kids in the audience react.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the most fun. It really was.
Yeah.
The kids just love these characters.
Well,
they're bigger than life characters.
Yeah, it brought it to life. I mean, they had been watching it on TV for a few years, and loving it, and just the good guy, bad guy stuff, and But seeing it in person, and we got to go backstage and meet Scary Sherry.
Oh, you did? You got backstage?
We got backstage.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember Quinn, my son, was just like in awe of being backstage.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Wow, this is a real thing. It's not just a TV thing. Yeah. But of course it's all, it's still happening.
Character. But you know what? I think those were the best days in wrestling. Now, I know all these other movie stars are from the latter part. I don't know what they were called then.
WWE now.
Yeah.
But,
right?
John Cena?
Cena.
Yeah, he just announced, I think, recently he's retiring.
The Rock?
The Rock, yeah.
Same thing.
Went on to movies, yeah. Hulk Hogan, of course.
Well,
he's gone on to the Republican convention.
What's wrong with that guy?
I don't know.
I mean, not only did he, do this thing endorsing Trump, but at the same time on X, somebody was posting this video of Hulk trashing Trump.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It was odd because about halfway through his speech, Hulk Hogan, he dropped his Hulk Hogan-ness and said, that's not my real name. I'm really Terry Bollea. And it was like a complete character change.
Jeez.
And then he started falling back into the Hulk Hogan thing after a couple of minutes. So it was very, very strange. Yeah, very odd.
Dual personality. He's got a problem there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Sam, were you ever into wrestling, watching this stuff on the
No,
TV?
my mom didn't want us to watch it when we were young.
She's
Really?
smart.
Yeah,
Good for
she
her.
figured my brother and I would like start doing what we saw on TV and like
Right?
jumping off the couch and crushing each other in the living room.
Yeah.
Well, you do that once, but then you'd know that that wasn't a thing you could do.
Don't do it again. Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
you-
my son used to have his friends over, and they would do the same thing. They'd throw each other.
Oh, really?
Imitate all the things. Yeah.
For me, it was like debating whether it was real or not.
Well, right. Yeah.
I don't even know why I was thinking that way.
The thing that was,
Obviously, it wasn't real, but the acrobatics was.
but not only all the goofiness in the ring, but all the sideshow stuff. Mean Gene
Mean Gene
Okerlund.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a well-defined character.
He was a great character.
Taking it all so seriously.
Yes.
Interviewing all these, Macho Man, and Macho Man was just unbelievably funny.
He was one of the greats.
He was. Yeah,
His
Randy.
rants. And I understand he was pretty much like that in real life, though.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch one of these documentaries, it shows his real life, and it was actually very tragic. But
Yeah.
Randy Poffo, Randy Macho Man Savage. Yeah. Those were the days. Huh? Hey.
It sure was. I want him back.
Oh, yeah. I think you can still see some of those old matches. I'm sure you can
There
find
should be
them
a
on YouTube.
channel with all of them.
Well,
on
I
it,
would
right?
imagine YouTube's got them all. But hey, let's look at the weather for today because, that's, one of the reasons we're here is to let you know what it's like outside because you can't just figure it all out by looking out the window. That doesn't really work all the time because it looks okay right now, but they're talking about maybe some rain later on today. And I guess in some of the outlying areas, there's some fog this morning because of the downpour that we had yesterday for a while.
The thing here is I came out to the car this morning.
Yeah.
And it was like hitting a wall of wet.
Yeah.
It is so humid out there.
It is.
It's outrageous.
By the way, did you let your Highlander dry out after leaving the sunroof open during last week's rainstorms?
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay now?
Now it's really good. It's almost like new.
Yeah.
My wife, left it open and she was out there letting it dry off. And like yesterday, she vacuumed the whole thing out, cleaned the inside of the vehicle out, and she had a cleaning service at one time. And you can tell, man, that thing is like brand new.
Yeah. Well, great.
She put so much effort in it. I think her effort costs more than the value of the vehicle itself at this point. So.
See, there's a silver lining to everything.
Yes,
right?
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
That's good.
I'm waiting for the battery to go in the damn thing. It's a hybrid.
Oh, no.
Highlander.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And if we have to go out and buy a battery for it, then I have to rethink this thing. I mean, I think it's worth about $1,500. And it's a gorgeous vehicle. You've seen it.
$1,500?
$1,500, yeah. I mean, it's no rust. It's beautiful on the inside.
What year
Heated
is it?
seats.
What year is it?
It's a 2006.
Oh, okay.
But market value, it's like, $1,500.
I was going to say, John, do you
$2,000.
know how much cars go for these days?
Yeah.
Well, we might be able to charge more now, yeah.
All right. Well, we should talk after the show. I don't know. My daughter's looking for a car.
We're not selling.
Oh, okay. All right. Weather-wise today, it's 65 degrees this morning with some fog. We're going to, I think the slot machine is back in the shop. We're working on that some more.
It broke already?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't, something doesn't sound right. The gears don't sound like they're working right to
Yes,
me.
it's completely.
So we're putting that off to the side. We got to do a little revamp on that. So let's go to the weather lottery balls. That thing. What will the high temperature be today? Let's get that first ball going. First ball is an 8. And here comes the second ball up the tube and the slot 0. 80 degrees for a high today. And, of course, we'll talk to Brittany Merlot.
Ungodly humid out there.
A little bit later on today.
What the hell did we do before air conditioning? When we were kids, we didn't have air conditioning.
And you're right. We didn't.
Yeah. I don't remember
fans.
suffering through these hot summers. I don't remember that.
Well, I think the heat is on now. I think it's getting
because
hotter
of the
and hotter.
climate change thing?
Well, yeah, that climate change thing. Yeah.
It's not real. It's the biggest hoax ever.
Oh, come on.
I can't remember the cliche now.
Okay. Hey, let's get to the National Day calendar. We
Yeah,
got a
let's
couple
do
of
that.
minutes. At least get it started. What do you think is one of these days, or what is not one of these days? What? Is it Fragile X Awareness Day or not? How do you pronounce this? Do you have any idea?
No, Panuche?
Do you know?
Panuche?
Panuche Fudge Day? Panuche?
We'll go
You got
with
any
that.
idea?
We'll go with that.
All right.
Ask our
Well,
French,
you know that's
French interpreter.
one of the days, but oh yeah, maybe we should get Julian going. Mango Day, is it Mango Day or not? Is it Hammock Day? Or is it National Strawberry Day?
Hammock Day?
Hammock, you know.
Well, it can't be Strawberry Day because it's not strawberry. Well, it was strawberry season.
Yeah. Is that your answer?
Yes.
You are correct.
All right.
It is.
There it is.
It is not National
No,
Strawberry
that would have
Day.
been earlier.
Yeah. Fragile X Awareness Day. Do we have time for this? Okay. Let's see.
Is that an Elon Musk?
I don't
Day?
know. Fragile X. Have you ever heard of this? Each year on July 22nd, National Fragile X Awareness Day celebrates those impacted by Fragile X syndrome. Wow, what is
No,
this?
I don't.
Fragile X syndrome is a mutation of the FMRI or FMR1 gene and is the most common form of inherited intellectual disability. It impacts men more than women, and while a person may have the gene mutation, sometimes they don't know the apparent signs. Those signs do not, those who have it do show signs that may be mild or severe. Physical, intellectual, and behavioral symptoms may appear, and they vary between males and females. Well, I still don't quite understand what this is.
I think this has something to do with Trump.
Well, maybe it has
Right?
attention deficit disorder
There you
is
go,
part
right
of
there.
it. Autism, hyperactivity, learning disabilities, elongated face and ears. What? Soft skin, connective tissue problems impacting ears and feet and joints
So it has
and
a
palates.
physical
It's a physical and
problem as well.
apparently so. All right. Well, we'll get into the rest of the days for the National Day calendar. And the history book is coming up, too. We're
I
just
can't
getting
wait for that to
started
open.
with the John and Gordy Show for this Monday, July 22nd. We're coming right back with more of the National Day calendar. Oh, boy, you don't want to miss this.
No.
Oh, my God. It's good. It is so good.
Hands and feet of mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Your hands and feet of mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway.
Mangas. Mad Radio, WMDX, 92.7 FM, 1580 AM. It's a John and Gordy family show. We got to come up with an edition of this family show. It's an important day today.
It is an important
we
day.
should celebrate.
I put the Fresh Start edition on. Do you agree that that's
Fresh
a good
Start?
idea?
Fresh start, yeah. It's a
That
fresh
kinda
start
works.
now. We're starting over.
Yeah, a
With
little-
the presidential race.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Fresh
so
start.
It's a reset.
Oh, yeah, I see it in there. You wrote it in. Great.
A little bit later on today, we're going to welcome former mayor of Madison, Paul Soglin, will be joining us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a few questions for
7
him.
o'clock, yeah. And he'll give us his take on everything that's happened in the last 24 hours.
In the city
So-
as well.
Yeah. And
He's got a very strong opinion about the new bus routes.
Does he?
Yes.
Well, we'll talk to him about it. He doesn't like it.
And
does he?
housing doesn't like that either.
Well, those are two questions we'll ask him.
He's very sedate.
What, is he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Kind of have to pry it out of
I
him.
haven't seen him around town lately, so
Well,
it'd be good to have him in. You run into him all the time.
I'll have to tell him my story at Woodman's.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Let's get back to the National
I'm
Day
sure
calendar.
he can't wait now.
Yeah. He's knocking on the door, trying to get in already. National Mango Day.
Yeah.
That's why we're playing that mango song. It's tropical fruit that provides delicious flavor and nutrition in one sweet bite. Yes. Originating in India over 5,000 years ago, mangoes have been around for thousands of years. Well, wow. We just said that. Mango seeds traveled with humans from Asia to the Middle East, East Africa, also South America, beginning around 300 or 400 AD, known as the king of fruits. Mangoes are said to bring richness of life, including material wealth. So I have a mango today. Okay? I can see your thrill. You're just stunned with the information that I provided to you.
Fit mangoes into my diet.
I love mangoes. Yeah.
Well, they have mango flavored seltzer waters.
Okay.
I thought mangoes are supposed to help your digestive system as well.
I think they probably do. Yeah. It's National Penuche Fudge Day. I don't know what Penuche, Penuche. I've never heard of this. Recognize the creamy candy with an Italian name. Oh, Penuche, maybe. Let's get Julian on the line, see if he can pronounce Penuche. It's Penuche. Penuche is pronounced Penuche. Penuche. Okay, Penuche Day. It's said to have origins in Portugal, becoming popular in New England during the 1700s.
Oh, can't wait.
Are you falling asleep over there? You have a dazed look on your face.
Well, when I hear the voice of Julian.
I've got Julian here. He just takes so long to get to the actual pronunciation
I
in
know.
the video. It takes
That's
like
part
less
of the
than
fun.
It takes less than a second to say the word. His video is more than a minute long.
Well, you want to play it? Let's get the right
He's trying to
pronunciation.
get to the open here.
Channel, how do you say it? Penuche.
Oh.
Stress on the second syllable. Both British and American pronunciations are similar here as Penuche.
Penuche.
I love the soft
Yeah,
guitar in the
man.
background.
Yeah. It's very soothing.
You're a very
Penuche.
romantic lifestyle that he has
Penuche.
doing these videos.
It's considered the oldest fudge ever created. The fudge-like candy includes brown sugar, butter, vanilla, milk. Some people add pecans or other nuts, especially if making a candy in the form of penuche. Lighter in color than traditional fudge, penuche tastes like maple, thanks to the brown sugar.
Look at this guy. Somebody texted, you're talking about penuche and you don't know what it is. How about a little prep?
That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, we got the prep
thrill.
right. This is the thrill of prep on the air.
Flying by the seat of your pants.
That's it. Who sent that in? Okay. We had one.
Ban that. No, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. We're just stumbling over the events of the day today.
It's just the warm-up half hour.
I like the text that they sent right before this. The texter said, I didn't want Biden to step down, but now that he has, I'm looking forward to voting for Kamala Harris. Seeing Trump lose his mind over losing to a black woman will be so cathartic.
Okay.
Yes. Great comment.
That's
Yep.
we can hope. Okay.
And your second comment wasn't so great. So let's balance that off.
The National Hammock Day is today. We're encouraging everyone to relax in the shade by creating a tranquil napping space. Whether you have a hammock
No,
back at your
never
why
did.
don't you? You got plenty of places
You got
to
to
put it.
balance to get into the damn
Well,
thing. There's no way
you
I'm
can
going to
hurt
try
your-
that.
You can hurt yourself in a hammock. Whether you set up your hammock under a tree or on your balcony, find a spot and enjoy the feeling of swaying lightly in the peace and the quiet. A hammock sling is made of fabric. Okay, we know what a hammock is.
There's no lumbar support.
No, you're right. When suspended between 2 points, a hammock forms a sling used for swinging, sleeping, or resting. We usually suspend a hammock between trees or posts. Okay.
You know, with a little show prep, you would have known that
I
already.
guess I would have. Sam, what's going on with the history books today?
Oh, it's time to get into the
out
books.
of the National Day calendar and move on.
All right.
Oh, open that dusty book.
Big book. Geez, you
Okay.
good there? Pretty dusty, huh?
Yeah.
Lots of history.
Musty,
Got some
too.
crime history today.
Okay.
Today in 1934, John Dillinger, he's killed in a shootout with federal agents.
In Chicago, downtown, near the, what was the theater? Biograph?
Why do you know that?
Have you been there when you lived in Chicago?
I've walked by there. I
Yeah?
think there's a plaque there. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Cool.
More crime history. Today in 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer is arrested.
Good.
Yeah, crazy stuff that happened there.
Creep.
Today in 1999, Woodstock 99 begins. It went horrible. Went nothing like the original music festival.
Yeah.
There were the people who were selling like food and water there were jacking up the prices throughout the festival as
Good
their supply
God.
dwindled. The crowd was really rough. There were a lot of reported assaults
Yeah.
here, there, and everywhere.
Didn't go well.
Wasn't a good time.
No.
No.
Nope.
Got a couple of birthdays today. Alex Trebek, born in 1940. Rick Davies of Supertramp, born in 1944. Willem Dafoe, from Wisconsin's own, Appleton, Wisconsin,
Oh, that's right.
born in 1955. And Selena Gomez in 1992.
Okay.
Kind of relating Supertramp to Wisconsin somehow.
Yeah.
They were very, very popular in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah?
I saw them
that's
I saw them at Alpine Valley. Yeah.
That's what made them so international.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I mean, they were
kidding.
so popular in the Midwest.
They
Yeah.
blew up in
It just-
Milwaukee
it-
first.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, absolutely.
I thought they were from England.
They are.
They are.
Oh.
But, is that over
their
in the States?
popularity
where they-
began here in the
Okay.
States.
Oh, all right. Well,
Very cool.
Thank you for sharing.
There you go.
Do we have some Supertramp music, maybe?
We do. I'm waiting to play it out because I queued it to 1 minute, and 1 minute is starting right here.
Oh, thank you. See how we planned this out? You know,
Yes. See, we do some show
we do
prep.
plan stuff.
Yeah.
We just don't follow the plan.
Yes, exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
I could have
Okay.
actually given you kind of a parody of one of their songs.
What?
It was a gas shortage thing, and
Yeah.
somebody did a parody on the gas shortage in the Supertramp style. It's kind of a fun song.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe
Well,
we can
we'll see.
prepare it.
Well, we'll see.
Share it. Prepare it and share it. That's our new motto. It's 29 minutes past 6. We're just getting going on this Monday. 65 degrees, high near 80. Coming back with more of the John and Gordy Show.
Great.
You got a bloody right to say
John and Gordy, oh, John and Gordy, John and Gordy.
Matt Ready.
6:34.
I thought you...
That was
So,
Mad Radio, 92.7 WMDX. It's the John and Gordy show.
It's it's a special edition, the Fresh Start edition of the Family Show, celebrating Kamala Harris's entering into the presidential race.
There you go.
All right.
Okay.
I
It's a
could
fresh
spit that
start
out on a
Monday
Monday.
morning. 65 degrees right now. Highs today near 80, and maybe a little fog in a few places this morning. Otherwise, just kind of cloudy off and on. Maybe a shower. Okay? And we welcome Terry Bell back into the studio. Good morning, Terry.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah,
We're doing
not
well.
bad.
How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm tired. A little sleep
You were
deprived.
well, you came in last night because there was special breaking
Yeah.
news yesterday afternoon, and you and Todd Alba. And,
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we broke into programming a couple times yesterday. Once right away in the afternoon, and then later in the day we were able to, get a little, take another step back and have a look, and also round more folks up for an hour-long broadcast. So
Right.
it was a busy day, coming off a busy week. So
Unbelievable.
yeah.
It just seems like the news cycle never stops anymore. you know?
Especially this year.
Yeah.
That is for certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, it kind of helps that Trump campaigns year long. He's been campaigning for the last 4 years,
Yes,
three
he
and a
has.
half years.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
never stops.
So
Yeah.
never ends.
So
All
the
right.
reaction out of all this was just, I mean, the news broke a little after 1 o'clock or 1:30, somewhere in there.
Yeah, just right about one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, it just kept getting, I mean, everybody started buzzing, and donations started coming in. And I understand for the Democrats,
And the
they
stock market went up,
The
or
stock-
at least the futures.
Really?
Yeah.
and they raised something like $47 million or some outrageous number by the time it was all over. But boy, all the endorsements started coming in out of the woodwork right away for Kamala Harris.
I think it was important. I think Democrats see the importance of not seeming divided right now. There was talk early on in this process, maybe, a few days ago, there might be a brokered convention or
Yeah,
something like that, but I don't think that's what they want. In modern day politics, major parties don't like big public squabbles. So
Right.
I think to appear united, they figure is their best chance to win.
And what is that process? They had set up this process, a unique process, to get the candidate in right away because everybody needed to print out their ballots. So what was that process? Is it an online thing? Is it?
As far as like declaring a nominee,
Yeah. Declaring that they had some kind of vote.
Well, I think they were
Process.
talking about having like 4 mini primary, town halls or something like that. I mean, there were all these ideas floating around that if this happened,
Right.
they were going to have to, at least open it up to a few possible candidates. But that hasn't happened at all.
No.
I mean, as far as I know, Kamala Harris and maybe Joe Manchin is talking about becoming a Democrat.
Joe
again, but
Manchin is
that's
the
not going
only
anywhere.
other name I've heard. No, that will not go anywhere. He's not well regarded
With the Democrats.
among the party activists. Right. So,
Oh, a virtual vote. I think that's the process that they put in place because a few states were complaining they needed to print up their ballots and they needed a confirmation on it. So they wanted a virtual vote in regards to that. So I think instead of an open primary, they're going to have a virtual vote.
yeah, that could very well be. I'd have to say. I imagine whatever ends up happening will be as close to pretty conventional as can be under the circumstances.
Well, I've
Yeah,
never
what-
seen momentum like this build so quickly.
Well, I think Democrats especially understand the urgency of this, and Republicans understand the urgency too.
Well,
they've been out quickly with their statements and their fundraising too.
Well, a lot of this was brought about because the big money donors were holding back. They didn't want Biden to run.
Right.
And interesting story, I got a couple of fundraising letters in the mail for Biden, and I threw them away because I wasn't sure who was actually going to run. whether he was going to pull out or not. So I wasn't going to donate any money right away. And I think that happened, and that's a small donor level. Yeah. So I think we're all kind of holding off.
Right, and I think part of this is that any money that was given to the Biden campaign goes directly now to Harris.
It does.
She was on the ticket too, so
we weren't sure.
No need for any kind of a elaborate transfer or freeing that money up to whoever. So that's a big part of it. Yeah, you're right about the money part. At least I suspect it is. I mean, Bill O'Reilly did not lose his show on Fox News Network because of anything he said. It's because sponsors were pulling out of his show.
Yeah.
The football team in Washington didn't change its name because Dan Snyder decided it was the right thing to do.
Right.
They did it because sponsors were pulling out.
Yeah.
So I suspect it's very true in this case too. The money was starting to dry up, and it was becoming untenable.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I heard was that you're right, going back to there's a handful of states that have to get their ballots printed somewhere between August 1st and August 10th. I'm pulling these dates out, but it was somewhere in the first week of August. So they have to know who the nominee is. So I think that they have to figure
some of
that
the
out.
Republican legislatures.
Yeah,
and to vote on this and make it a special event so they can do this, begrudgingly, of course.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so now we turn the page, and Kamala Harris is already out there fundraising and going to be making appearances and making a lot of phone calls.
And she'll be right here in Wisconsin here tomorrow too. This was already scheduled, but the circumstances now, give this visit a whole new significance. In fact, I think it's her first campaign appearance since all this happened. So it'll be incredibly significant. And of course, this being 2024, it'll happen in Wisconsin.
I know she's going to Milwaukee.
Yes.
But is she going to other places tomorrow? I heard maybe La Crosse.
One thing I would criticize, she has been in La Crosse. The one thing about Biden and Trump especially, they seem to stick to the major population centers in southern and eastern Wisconsin. Biden likes to go to Madison and Milwaukee. Trump likes to go to Green Bay and Waukesha. If anybody makes it to places like La Crosse, it's usually a surrogate. Even the vice president is high up as that. But I think some other places in Wisconsin would like to see the tops of the ticket too.
Yeah.
Do they know where she's appearing in Milwaukee?
I do not. Those details, last I checked, and that was late last night, had not been released yet. In fact, late last night, they were just making credentials available for her public appearances today.
Nice.
So I suspect that information will come to us at some point today.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Terry. Well, we'll all watch it carefully, and it's going to be an exciting and ever-changing political landscape
never
here.
a dull moment.
All right.
And we're going to have Paul Soglin in our next hour and chat with him a bit about all of the...
He'll have something to say, I guess.
Yes. I imagine so. Terry Bell, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it. And you have a good day. All right. Good enough. Well, on we go. This coming weekend, Atwood Fest is happening. We're going to be a part of that. John and Gordy will be appearing with our musical act.
Are we?
Right?
Yes.
We got Sam on cowbell and tambourine.
Yes.
And
we've got a couple of parody songs.
We'll play
about
some
this
music. And no, we're not going to. We're going to be emceeing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's, 30,
unless you want to do your juggling thing. You do juggle
I do juggle,
bit.
but I don't think that's appropriate for a music festival.
Did we get to the rest of the birthdays and everything? Are we done with that?
Yeah, we got that, but we didn't ask Sam about his weekend, and I understand you almost lost your your voice sounds you sound fine to me, but of course I'm half deaf, but
don't be so critical of yourself.
So what happened? Were you yelling and screaming at the kids, or
the kids? Yeah, out on the street. Right. No, I used to work at a summer camp, for anyone who doesn't know, and it was alumni weekend this past weekend. So I was up there helping out, volunteering, and having fun. Maybe a little too much fun because I lost my voice.
Summer camp.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what kind of summer camp?
Is this like Boy Scout thing?
A YMCA thing, or what is it?
You're an Eagle Scout.
Yes, a Boy Scout camp.
Boy Scout camp.
Okay. Is it out in the woods and some cabins and tents?
It's north of Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. Way up there. Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of activities were going on that you had to yell at the kids all the time and lose your voice?
There's a lot of camp songs that get sung.
That
Really?
oh
when
my
I was
God.
when I was
Yeah?
working there, I was one of the song gurus, I guess you could say.
Did you play guitar?
I didn't. No. Just singing, leading the song in front of a ton of people.
A cappella.
So you knew
Sorta,
all the
yeah.
words.
To quite a few songs, yeah.
Well,
Not every song.
What's the
obviously.
most popular camp song that you know?
Oh, this is a hotly contested debate.
Oh.
Yeah?
About what people's favorite camp song is.
Hate to get in between that.
Well, debate. What songs? What
Is there
what did it
something
come,
that
would
would
it
be
come down to
interesting?
two or three?
So I like verse chorus songs. So like a lot of old, like not exactly Western songs, but kind of folky sort of things that get turned into camp songs.
Yeah.
My favorite might be "The Man Who Never Returned" by the Kingston
Oh yes,
Trio.
we know that one.
The man and never. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
500 Miles. You remember that song?
So who's that by?
I don't know.
I don't know
It's
that
an
one.
old.
Man Who Never Returned was that the that was a subway thing, right?
Yeah, a guy who gets stuck on a train because he doesn't have all the money to pay the fare.
Can't get off. He never came back.
Did you sing Kumbaya? Or
No.
Kumbaya. How about Michael Rowed the Boat? No? Okay.
Can't say that I have.
Okay, that's
no.
good. Yeah.
All right. Well, so your voice is a little raspy, I can tell.
I'm recovering.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Can you imagine getting up in front of these people, cheering them on,
So how many-
singing a song?
How many
That's
kids?
crazy.
How many kids and camp counselors were there? I mean,
Yeah.
20, 30, or like a
Oh
couple,
no,
couple
quite
hundred.
a few. Probably 200 or 300 like participants, kids and adults, and then the staff. There's probably around 40 or 50 total.
Oh, that's a big gathering.
It
So
is, yeah.
What was
Summer
the camp called? Was
It's
it Camp
Tasomas, Camp Tasomas.
Tasomas?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a native name? Is that
Well, it's a fake native name. It's
Yes.
so you know the name Samoset.
Samoset?
It's-
Yeah.
That's an actual Native American from history. It's Samoset spelled backwards.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right.
Do you have T-shirts? And,
No,
you know,
don't
hats.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. I wore
We
I
only
wore a
have,
camp
we
shirt
only
last
have a
week.
couple
actually.
hours this morning.
John wants to move on.
Oh my God! Well, I could tell you my story. My kid went to
Yeah?
Christian camp
Okay.
for
Oh,
a
yeah?
couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And when we picked him up, he said, "This is like a concentration camp."
No, he did. Really?
Yes, he did.
He didn't have any
That
fun,
was
huh?
Cole. Yeah, my older one. They didn't feed him.
What did they?
He said they didn't give us any food.
Were you supposed to bring your own? Or
Yeah.
something? No.
Well, I don't know what, but they didn't give him any food. We expected them to at least feed the kids.
He wasn't
for a couple of
exaggerating,
weeks.
right?
No,
like,
he
did
was
they-
not kidding.
They didn't give him any food.
Well, pretty
What?
close to nothing.
How long was
Jeez.
he there?
2 weeks.
Came back 20 pounds later.
Look,
huh?
I felt horrible. Just saying, I don't want anybody to spend 2 weeks overnight at a camp. And then he told me this when we went to pick him up, and it freaked me out. I was just like, that's the last time my kids
Is
are
this-
ever going to camp.
Is this why you advocate for kids having phones so much?
Yes.
Maybe so.
Yes.
Yeah, you couldn't hear from him, huh? I mean, he didn't have a phone at the time.
Yeah, I don't think he had a phone at that time.
Wow.
But, phew, that's not going to happen.
Did you send Brett to camp too? You said Cole. You
No,
sent Cole.
they learned their
After
lesson.
that,
was
experience?
it. After
Their
that,
lesson.
No way, huh?
No way was he going to go off to.
Did you go to camp as a
Lutheran
kid?
camp? Lutheran camp.
Did you go to camp as a kid?
I did. I
I
went
did for
to-
1 week. 1 week.
I went 2 weeks.
Yeah?
And man, every morning, every
Yeah.
morning they'd wake you up.
Yeah.
Before you even
Super
had breakfast.
early. Yeah.
They had swimming lessons. What
Right.
the hell? Jumping into a lake first thing in the morning. That's why I hate summer
yeah.
camp.
Yeah, I didn't like mine either.
Oh man, did
Yeah.
I get a bad case of poison ivy too?
Oh boy. Summer camp. Okay. Hey, coming up this weekend, we mentioned before Atwood Fest.
Yeah.
That's happening Saturday, Sunday. Lots of bands. I think 30 bands, 2 days. It's free. Also, Wana Fest is happening this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mount Horeb Art Fair. Lots of stuff coming up this coming weekend. And a little bit later on, we'll talk to Brittany Merlot, get the inside on the outside on the weather. And Paul Soglin will join us in our next hour to talk about, what's going on in the political
We'll
world.
talk
huh?
about Kamala
Anything
as
going
well.
on?
We'll talk about her.
It's all happening on the John and Gordy Show.
mother. Hello, father. Here I am at Camp Granada. Camp is very entertaining. And they say we'll have some fun if it stops raining. I went hiking with Joe Spivey. He developed poison ivy.
No kidding.
You remember Leonard Skinner? He got ptomaine poisoning last night after dinner.
Man Radio
All the
WMDX, 92.7 FM and 1580 AM. Alan Sherman and Hello Mudda, Hello Fella. You know, what a song. It really tells the story about every kid's experience at an overnight camp.
Miserable.
God, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then, that's the only way we could communicate is a postcard sent back to our parents saying, this is what's happening.
It's awful. Yeah,
You know?
Exactly.
It's awful.
So, Sam, you wanted to share another story about your summer camp that you went to over the weekend.
Well, I wasn't going to, but then I mentioned it to you guys when we went to commercial, and
Yes.
you were just so curious.
Yes.
I said that there used to be a competition that we did sometimes at camp.
Can we talk about this?
Yes, it's okay.
Are you
it's got a silly sounding name,
Okay,
John,
well,
but it's
what's it called?
it's called a Chili Willy.
God, I don't know.
Do we need to go further? What?
Well, okay, so John, you mentioned
happens?
getting up before breakfast to go swimming, right?
Yeah.
This it's a game where you get up, you go to the waterfront before breakfast at like 6 a.m.
Okay.
and you take a 5-gallon bucket of ice, and you go on the dock. You throw the ice into the water, and 2 teams line up at the shoreline facing away. When they hear the ice hit the water, they run in, and whichever team gets the ice back to the shore first gets a point. And you keep going until all the ice is melted. And it's an absolute brawl in the water.
Oh my.
It's sort of like greased watermelon
Yes.
polo. Yeah, that sort of a game.
They call it Chili Willy.
Chili Willy, because it's a block of ice.
Ever wonder why kids aren't getting into the Cub Scouts anymore?
And you had fun doing this.
I didn't get to play. I got there the day after they did it, but
Okay.
whenever I'm up there again, I'm gonna hopefully do it.
You know, one of the weird things I thought when I was at camp, they'd get buses in and then they'd send you someplace else, right? You know, a little trip within a trip.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, summer camp supplied a trip to someplace, right?
Yeah, go
An
somewhere.
adventurous place. Mm-hmm. And they took us to a quarry?
A quarry.
Aren't they off limits to just about everybody because
Why-
they're dangerous?
Yes.
Yes.
Did they have you
sent us-
doing like hard manual labor, breaking rocks?
Well, pretty much. I think I turned that down. Maybe that was the point. Child labor.
Jeez.
But they, warned us, don't go off the path because there's quicksand out here.
Whoa. Really?
Well, yeah, way back
What
when,
the hell?
every place had quicksand. I don't even think they have quicksand anywhere in the world.
Were you supposed to collect rocks or something at this quarry, or just? I mean, what was the learning
I have
experience?
no
of this?
idea what
Just-
the thing was.
Just
We
somewhere to go.
You'd think they'd ask us to climb on rocks or a pathway or along
sounds dangerous.
the valley of a big lake that developed. Nothing. I don't remember too much about it. Thank
Summer
God.
camp memories. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's get to
Sam, thank you. I'm glad you survived it. Okay, except for your voice, you're a little raspy, but that'll come back.
Yes.
Hey, what happened
I'm
to
glad I survived.
politics? We're supposed to talk about politics
Oh,
here.
what?
Oh,
Why?
well, let's get to something we didn't mention so far.
What was that?
And it's a text that we got about Alex Trebek. I'm sorry, I had to say it in
Trebek.
Canadian.
Yeah.
You mentioned Alex Trebek's birthday is today. Did you know a forever stamp honoring him comes out today?
No kidding.
So there you go.
Stamp collectors would be running wild getting that Alex trip. Be a rush at the post office for that.
Yeah.
Mr.
Well, that's a nice
Jeopardy.
tribute. It's
Yeah.
real nice.
Yeah. Do you still watch? Do you watch Jeopardy? Either of you guys? I sometimes watch it.
No.
It's on at an odd time.
See, I don't play games or watch them on TV.
No?
Except maybe,
not as
there
good
was
as
a game channel. I don't know if they still have it.
Yeah, they do.
But, you can watch these super old game shows.
They're kind of fun.
Did you ever watch Queen for a Day?
That is a bizarre show.
That was sad.
Yeah. Back in the late 50s, early
Yes,
60s.
yes.
Yes. Queen
Oh, you
for a
don't know
day.
about
I haven't heard of this. What's it about?
Oh, they had contestants. They applied to be a contestant on the show, and they would give these horribly sad stories
Right.
about their life, and they'd feature, a woman who is telling this sad story.
We got thrown out of our apartment. And we
Yeah.
didn't have a place to live.
And
my
the
husband
saddest,
left me.
the saddest
like-
story won.
Yeah, I was gonna say
sad.
it's like a public competition for the Make a Wish Foundation or something
Well,
like that.
Exactly.
Kind
That's
of.
a great comparison.
And then the winner would get, here's a brand new washer and dryer, a
Yeah.
Maytag, da, da, da,
Exactly.
and then a couch. You got a complete living room set. I mean, they would just give them all these prizes.
Tons of things.
And the rest of the
Instead
contestants,
of spreading them out to the other contestants
Right.
who had really bad stories too.
they got nothing
They got nothing.
because their story wasn't sad enough.
Their
Queen
life
for a day.
Their life wasn't tragic enough.
It was a bizarre show.
It was a bizarre show.
Yeah.
No one thought about that at the time.
No. I think they tried to revive it a few years ago, and it was like, no, this is
never
not
a good
it's
idea.
a bad concept. Yeah, a lot of those old
We're
game
almost
shows.
out of time for this hour.
You know,
what happened?
I know.
I guess this is
just-
Monday. We're just getting back into the swing of things.
Well, the thing is,
politics convulsed over
yes,
the weekend.
there was so much news that started at 1:00 yesterday afternoon, and it was just nonstop all day and into the night.
Yeah.
It gets a little fatiguing after a while, a little
Well, it
tiring.
does. Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to take a little breath in between. And again, Paul Socklin's going to be here in a little while, talk about things.
Yeah, about 7:36.
Oh, okay.
Around there.
All right.
All right. We got Brittany Merlot coming up as well, and and we're going to talk about Biden stepping down.
Yeah. A real,
We'd love to take your calls or your texts as well.
Yeah, if you have some thoughts on this, you can call us 608-879-8255. By the way, I want to mention that this portion of the John and Gordy Show is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. You can find them on Madison's east and west sides or online at verlo.com. That's verlo.com. Okay?
All right.
All right. Okay. Are we okay? Everybody okay
No,
so far?
I think we're
doing
surviving our summer camps.
Yes. If you have a summer camp
Experience.
story, text it in. Let us know.
Lord.
6:58, 65 degrees. Back with more of John and Gordy coming up.
As we were saying, it's the John and Gordy Show.
John and Gordy in the morning.
As we were saying,
Let the sun shine.
it's the John and Gordy Show.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
Do you know what this means?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
You're pretty high and far out, aren't you? What kind of kick are you on, son?
No good bastard. Your show sucks.
What made me think this was a good day to stop drinking?
Buddy, you want coffee?
Coffee. Coffee.
Black coffee.
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 They warned us about people like you!
What a load of crap.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
We'll do it live.
And that's the way it is.
Only on Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX. Take it away, boys.
Okay.
All right, we're talking politics.
What?
Kamala Harris.
Yes. Yes, we
Running
are.
for president.
Yes, she is. 7:06, 65 degrees, highs today about 80. Talk to Brittany Merlot in about 20 minutes and get an update on weather for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the big announcement happened a little after 1 o'clock. Joe Biden sent
You were
out,
watching TV at the time. You caught the news just as it happened.
Well, actually, yeah, I had the TV on in the background, but I saw it first on X, and that's where he posted it first. He didn't release it to the networks exactly. He did it on X right away.
It's kind of in with Elon, I guess. So.
You think so? I doubt that, but
I know.
You know, and of course the word got out. Now, what I love about TV coverage, you know, I have either CNN or MSNBC on video, but I keep the sound down most of the time because the crawl tells you any headlines. So I had it on in the
Closed
background.
caption lets you know.
You know, and I'm just cleaning up around the house and, you know, doing dishes and laundry and all the stupid crap you got to do on the weekend.
Oh, sure.
And I check X, and there's this letter from Joe Biden on there. And I was like, oh, my God. Yeah. And then I texted you. I started texting, you know, spreading the word, and there they are on CNN and MSNBC. And, just kept going all day and all night. And actually, we've got a caller on the line here to talk about this, too.
Let's go to Jacob.
Jacob is on the line with John and Gordy. Good morning, Jacob.
Hey there. First of all, you guys put on a good show, and I think that goes without saying. And second of all, I know that there are some people who are heartbroken that Grandpa Joe is out of the race. But I've never been more stoked for an election. I've only lived through 5 in my short life on this planet, and I was devastated that we were going to have 2 men approaching 80 running for office. You take a look at Kamala. She's so happy. Trump's attack on her at a rally was laughing Kamala. You ever seen her laugh and smile? And it's like, really, buddy, that's the best you got?
That's
she
it.
likes to smile.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the best they got.
They're cooked.
Yeah.
They're cooked, man. And Aunt Kamala is going to ride on in there. America's yoga mom is going to run things for 4 years, and I'm so excited.
Well, now I heard that also Trump put out something about the debate is still on, but he wanted to move it to Fox instead of ABC.
Yes, exactly.
Which, you know, what does that tell you?
Steer it a little bit, you know, at least provide some clapping, some applause, some standing ovations for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But I imagine no matter what network it's on, it's going to be carried by other networks anyway. But
here's one thing, Jacob, and this is my one complaint about Kamala is that I don't think she's a great speaker. I think all of this time that she's been in office as vice president, I think they should have been attempting to get her to be a better speaker. Now it would really come in handy. She's more of an emotional. She tries for the emotional impact when she speaks instead of actually more matter of fact. More business-like, more presidential.
Yeah.
That's just my impression. What do you think, Jacob?
I'll tell you something. As much as I agree with you, the great thing about Kamala is that now there's only one oldest candidate in the race, and he's older than Joe Biden was the first time he ran.
Yeah,
and that's right. And you brought up a good point because I texted you, Gordy, about this, and I think it's great to turn the tables now.
Right.
Now let's say that we've got this guy running for president who's way too old.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I think Kamala has a lot of energy. I hear you about her speaking style, but she's really good. And and again, and a lot of the pundits were talking about this. She's a former prosecutor and an attorney general.
I want her to bring that out.
And you've seen some of these clips of her, in action as a senator, grilling Brett Kavanaugh and grilling Bill Barr.
Yeah.
And she's gonna that'll be very interesting in the debates. But the news coverage was pretty expansive on TV, and of course we had civic media coverage almost immediately last night too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With a special that aired last evening. Terry Bell and Todd Alba were all over it. And, of course, Kamala Harris is going to be in Milwaukee. Is that later today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
We'll have to double check on that.
I think, and Jacob, you probably wanted to see Biden step down. Is that right?
I was largely indifferent for a time until the debate. And after the debate, I love the guy. I think he was a good president, and I just can't hand the car keys to Grandpa.
Right.
Okay. But one of the things I think a lot of us are impressed by, that Biden would actually step down for the country in this respect.
Well,
I think this is one of the most impressive moves ever by a president.
That, and, he's served the public for 50 years. I mean, think about that. What a history of, since he was 29, he was a senator, for all those years and really had some personal tragedies along the way. And, he's been an amazing president, got a lot of things done during his time in office.
But the other thing is the president doesn't come up with all of these bills.
Right.
He needs a Congress. Yes. So the big event here is getting the House and Senate to be dominated by Democrats, so they can come up with the agenda, the bills that have to be signed by the president. That's what it's all about. We need the Congress to be Democratic in this case, so we can get all of our things passed, just like we did during the first couple of years.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Dick is on the line with a comment this morning. Dick, go ahead.
Totally agree with your last caller. I think that it breathes a lot of new life into it and sucks the age issue away. If I'm the Democrats, I bring it up now all the time. The other thing is, I just don't believe that this nonstop dog whistle / misogynistic, he's like Don Rickles. A little bit of that humor goes a long way. You know what I mean?
Good comparison.
But it wears on you after a while.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'll wear on the American people. I think they're going to get sick and tired of this nonstop, negative. First of all, she talks about things she will do and will try to do, and all he does is just bash people and trash talk.
And blames.
And I just, exactly. So we'll see what happens, but
I have
apparently donors are up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Donations. I think
now we know who to donate to.
Well, that's right. And I think they had raised something like $47 million by late last night.
As I mentioned last hour, I got a couple fundraising letters, and I threw them away because I didn't know who to donate to.
Yeah.
So it was hurting the small donors as well as the large billionaires. So, and this I thought was interesting, Dick. This is an X response. Guess what, MAGA? Hunter Biden doesn't matter. The laptop doesn't matter. Ashley Biden doesn't matter. Biden's age doesn't matter. And Biden's brother doesn't matter anymore.
All those are off the table.
Yeah, geez. Now what are they going to talk about?
Right.
Yeah, the Biden crime family is now officially gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, what the big event now is, and my mega friend in Milwaukee called me about this. He says, now that he stepped down, he should also resign as president. If he's not good enough to run for president, he should resign. And this is a big event on the right. I mean, this is their talking point. I saw the development of that talking point. And then my friend calls me about it. I'm thinking, you're not falling for this. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not falling for anything. He should step down. No, you're falling for it. And I hung up on him.
Good for you.
I'm done with this.
Okay, Vince. All right. And now it turns to, well, who's she going to pick for vice president? And there's a lot now. There's tons of speculation about that, and it's got to be somebody from a swing state, maybe that governor from Pennsylvania or somebody from Arizona.
Shapiro?
Shapiro or Mark Kelly from Arizona.
Right. The thing that bothers me about
several other names being floated.
Well, I like Buttigieg.
Well, yeah,
I think he should be in there. But if you have a black female running for president and you've got a gay male running for vice president, it's a heavy ticket.
Yeah, I think Buttigieg would be great as like a Secretary of State. I mean, he speaks 7 languages. He's been
I
all over
know.
the world. He has military experience. He's really good
Rhodes-
at this
Rhodes
stuff.
Scholar.
Rhodes
This guy is
Scholar.
brilliant.
He is. He's amazing. And-
Please, I want him to run for president
Okay,
someday.
well,
you know that. Everybody knows that. He's my favorite guy.
Yeah.
Robert texts in, I can't tell how serious he is about this, but Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney, 2024, they could bring unity back to this country. We'd really see the art of compromise again.
That's
Liz
an
is-
interesting idea.
Liz is crazy. She's
wait a
nuts.
minute.
She's nuts right. She did the right thing, and Republicans should have done the right thing. And she was a Republican doing the right thing,
Yeah.
which is rare. So no, we should make her vice president, not on a Democratic ticket.
Well, there'll be a
That's-
lot of speculation
that's
over
where
the
I
next couple of weeks, but yeah.
We have a response here. John is right. Kamala comes off as inauthentic. Hopefully, she fixes that. She should have been coached for the last 3 years.
I think when you're vice president, you have to, cede the spotlight to the president all the time and support him all the time. And now she's on her own.
Yeah.
Now she'll start. I think we'll see a different style from her.
Yeah.
So, all right, and we're getting another text in here. Cheney on the ticket sounds good if you're a moron. Okay, that was a nice. Come on, now.
We got a fight going on here.
Okay,
in our text.
The texters are battling each other now. Hey, we want to remind you that this portion of the John and Gordy Show is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. You can find them on Madison's east and west sides or online. Just go to verlo.com. That's verlo.com.
I want to
John,
say
you're
hello to Sherry.
What do
She
you got
always
there?
sends us an emoji.
Every morning we get a different
Yeah.
emoji from Sherry and Horicon.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it says good morning. She's always very bright and chipper. You notice that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And, of course, we were on the air at 2 and 6.
Pardon me?
With this whole special in regards to the...
oh, yeah. We were, yes, Civic Media was
Kamala, yeah.
Yeah, on the air right after it happened, about 2 o'clock. Terry Bell and Todd Alba and news department all making the coverage.
And this is good, too. This
what
is
do we
good.
got?
Now Americans can choose between a former DA and a current convicted felon.
There you go.
There you go.
It is 18 minutes past the hour. We're at 65 degrees, the high near 80 today, maybe a scattered shower along the way, but I wouldn't worry about it. We're going to talk to Brittany Merlot coming up, and Paul Soglin is in the building here, and we'll be talking to him about all this Kamala Harris and convention talk and a whole lot more about what's happening here in Madison, too, coming up on the John and Gordy Show.
Brittany, where are you?
I am at EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh.
Oh, exciting.
Yes, I'll be here all week. So.
Let me talk to Paul. Well, we're going to talk to our weather person real quick, but oh, I forgot they had their mics on.
It's been a while. We'll have you over here. Thanks for coming in
15 seconds.
Mad Radio, WMDX, 92.7 FM and 1580 AM. Broadcasting from Madison, Wisconsin, high over State Street, a block
Yes.
away from the Capitol Dome.
Yes. It's a beautiful morning, a little cloudy.
So,
65
is there a reason
degrees.
why we heard Herb Alpert?
It was just what
The
I picked,
dating
John.
game?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Brittany Merlot is at the EAA this morning. And
Yes, I am.
she's Hey, how you doing, Brittany?
Good. How are you guys?
You're out there in the field, out in the parking lot, right?
It may look like a parking lot, but this is a massive campground where there are over 13,000 campers here. 13,000.
Man.
Now, we found out last week, Brittany, that you are maybe training to be a pilot. Is that right?
Yes, I'm working on my private pilot's license. So that's just, the smallest thing that you can get, but it gets you in the air, lets you have that freedom.
Sure. Well, if you have a little extra pocket money for an airplane.
True. I mean, you could
do
always,
you rent airplanes? Can you do that? Is that like a rental car thing?
Yes, you can absolutely rent an airplane. You can also go in with friends to purchase an airplane. Or if you have enough dough, you can get your own. Call me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, okay. So I know who's making the big money here.
So have you been to the EAA before, or is this your first time there?
Oh, I've definitely been here. I think this is my 4th year that I've been here. Yeah. How about you guys? Have you ever been?
No.
Never had the
I've driven by
opportunity.
and seen the large parking lots, and a lot of people show up for it.
Oh, yes, they do. I
Yeah.
think there's like 677,000 people that show up for this event.
Good heavens.
From across the world, too.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it's right in our backyard. If you have a chance, you guys should come on up because it is a blast. These people are so amazing. They're so friendly, and you get to see the weirdest, coolest, different airplanes. I mean, stuff that are home builds or things that aren't even flying, really. You know what I mean? They're experimentals that they've built. It's very interesting what's going on here this week.
I was going to say, where are all the planes at? You're standing in the middle of a field, but shouldn't the planes be in the air?
Well, you know what? Actually, no planes are in the air right now. I don't know what's going on, but the gates just opened at 7 a.m. Yeah. There must be some sound thing so that these campers can get a little sleep, but I'm waking them all up right now.
Is that right near Osh Vegas?
Yes.
Osh Vegas?
It's right across the street.
Right across the street. Yeah.
That sign, you know what I'm talking.
What is Osh Vegas?
It's this tiny little thing across the street. It's like, I don't know, what is it, a gas station or something?
I think that's actually a campground, if I'm correct.
Oh, it is? Okay.
And I think there's like a little pub restaurant, and I think that's what they call it.
There's something right there, yeah.
So, Brittany, it looks bright and sunny there. How's our weather shaping up for this week?
So you are looking at about 83 degrees for your high today, a mix of sun and clouds, maybe a scattered shower in there this afternoon, but a smaller chance. As we go through tomorrow, though, that's when a front is going to be dropping through, and we are looking at about a half an inch of rainfall, showers and storms moving in, but nothing should be severe. So not too bad. And as we go through the rest of the week, sunshine, we get warmer and warmer as we push towards the weekend, and the humidity holds off until next week.
Oh,
Good deal.
it's humid today.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
At this moment, because our temperatures are so close to the dew point, technically, yes. But as we go through the afternoon, you'll be all right.
Excellent. Fantastic. Good to hear.
Well, Brittany, enjoy you're going to be there all week, huh?
I will. Yes, I will. I'll have planes next time. This is your one shot of the campsite.
Okay. Good enough. Well, keep us up to date, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning, all right? What?
I think she's done some wing walking before, haven't you?
Brittany's a
You haven't
wing walker?
mentioned that. Yeah, she's a wing walker.
She's a stunt pilot? Okay.
Okay.
All right, Brittany,
right,
thank you very much. We'll talk to you
Bye,
tomorrow
guys.
I'll
morning.
let you go. Have fun.
Thank you.
All right, great.
All right.
Very good.
Well, you
Okay,
know what?
it is 7:24. Yeah,
We've
what?
got our guest here in the studio. Why don't we just start talking to Paul Soglin? Welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, it's good having you here.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for waking up early with us this morning.
Do you use coffee at all? Is
No.
it no?
No coffee.
No. Yeah. So, Paul, give us your impressions of what's happened here over the last, not even 24 hours here with Kamala Harris, now the apparent nominee. That's not official yet, but Joe Biden stepping away from the nomination.
Well, I think it's clearly the best thing that could happen for the country.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden was a great president. I think that when we go back over the last 100 years, FDR got us through the Depression, got us through World War II. LBJ, the Civil Rights Act, and some of his anti-poverty programs. And Joe Biden got us through COVID, and I really think that folks underestimate what might have been the consequences of COVID disabling this country economically if he hadn't taken the steps that he did. There would have been not only so much more consequences in terms of tragic death, but the collapse of the economy would have been far worse than the Great Recession and could have approached the Great Depression if not for the economic programs he launched. I don't think there's any question that great massive spending, both for infrastructure and to keep people employed and in their homes, contributed to the inflation. But the consequences, if that had not happened, would have been far more devastating. And perhaps in another 20, 30 years, people come to appreciate what he did over the past 4 years. And it was very difficult for him, but he did put the country first, recognizing what might happen in terms of the disaster, both in terms of the economy as well as our democracy, if Donald Trump is returned to the presidency.
Now, you've had some interactions, probably, I would imagine, with Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Tell us a little about that.
Not Vice President Harris, but Joe Biden several times when he was vice president for Barack Obama. You know, when people have characteristics, perhaps as they get older, they get accentuated. And I can remember the first time I heard him speak at a mayor's conference in Washington, and he was scheduled for, I think it was half an hour, and he went on for about 45 minutes. So the next time they scheduled him for 45 minutes, and he went on for about an hour. And I seem to recall that the last time I heard him, it was about an hour and 45 minutes. And it's how his mind works, because he can put together a compound sentence which has 2 or 3 ideas, and before he goes much further into something different, he's going to touch on all 2 or 3 of those points. And it does run over, and it can get confusing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We only have about a minute here before the break, but we're going to have you in our next half hour here.
Yes.
And not only talk about, the current political situation, but your 3 different times as mayor of Madison and what you think about what's happening here now,
Right.
too.
Yeah, the bus system and affordable housing. We want to hear your input on that. I know you had a recent article on that, your editorial. We'll talk about that.
With former mayor of Madison, Paul Soglin, joining us within our next half hour. 7:29. We're back with more of the John and Gordy Show for this Monday in just a few moments.
John and Gordy in the morning. As we were saying, let the sunshine. It's the John and Gordy Show.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Decaffeinated Caffeine. For people who like feeling nervous and wide awake, but hate running to the bathroom all the time.
7:34.
I didn't know.
66 degrees. Highs today about 80. It's the John and Gordy Show with our special guest, former mayor of Madison, Paul Soglin. Paul, great to have you with us.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
You know, we were talking a little bit about how great a President Biden was, but, you know, if it wasn't for him, Trump had pretty much made all the available help for COVID on the private market. Put it out there for competition, the states competing with each other. That ended once Biden came into office. That was a disaster waiting to happen, right?
Well, I think what's critical is this. Treating the nation took more than just getting people immunized.
Mm-hmm.
We know, even today, in the last couple of days, I know of what we would call I know of 2 super spreader events just in the last couple of days. One involved a wedding. The other involved actually a political event.
Mm-hmm.
But what is really key is understanding people have to go to work. If they don't go to work, they don't have incomes. If they don't go to work, they don't have incomes. Not only can't they pay their rent, but they can't go shopping, and they can't keep the rest of the economy afloat. And all these other people who are in service and manufacturing industries start losing their jobs, and then the whole thing just spirals out of control.
Right.
That is what Joe Biden did. He stopped that from happening. There was a very tough period in the first 18 months that he was president, but he kept income flowing in. He kept production going. He kept the nation's economy from going into another not Great Recession, but Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be recognized 10, 20, 30 years from now as one of the greatest presidential achievements in the last 100 years.
Right, and a lot of that inflation, maybe a little bit was part of the stimulus after COVID, but also
there's
it
no
was
question
it was greedflation.
Yeah, there was, and you cannot have those billions of dollars of infrastructure investment, of economic investment. I mean, one of the interesting reports I saw just in the last week was how many small businesses were able to stay afloat because of, in effect, the economic bridge of money that came from the Biden administration. And I wish that all the folks who benefited from that, whether they were owners of these businesses or employees or suppliers to these businesses who then could keep going, would appreciate that when they cast their vote in November.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
it was not Donald Trump who, in fact, he wanted to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Paul, I want to ask you about this. Now, this year, we've seen an attempted assassination of Trump. We've seen a lot of political turmoil. Biden at the debate, and everybody remembers what happened there. A lot of things are happening all at the same time. Does it flash? And here Biden is stepping away from running for president. It reminds me a lot about 1968 when Lyndon Johnson came to that conclusion that the Vietnam War was raging. He stepped away from running I think at the end of March of 1968. A few days later, Martin Luther King gets assassinated. Bobby Kennedy, who was running, gets killed. Is there anything we can learn from history when we go through these tumultuous political upheavals? And it kind of feels like that right now. Well, you remember those days very well because you were right there in the front lines.
I was, and in fact, that election in April of '68, where Johnson dropped out of the race a couple of days before the Wisconsin primary, was also my first election to the city council.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of things that strike me. First, is it's not just the rhetoric of violence, but it is the resentment and ultimately the need to punish that comes out of some very angry people. We've all, not maybe everybody, but we're aware of the politics of resentment. Well, that politics of resentment can escalate into a politics of retribution, which we see it in Donald Trump's rhetoric, but we also see it in regards to people who feel threatened by women, threatened by people of color, threatened by people who've immigrated to the United States. And unfortunately, that is the history of this country. I mean, we can go back to a few years after this nation was formed for the first Alien and Sedition Act. The first time we were threatened by foreigners. In that case, it was in response to the French Revolution and people not wanting French aristocrats to come into the new United States of America. We see it in the mid-19th century, the 1840s, with the Know-Nothings. And on both the left and the right, this history has, our country has a history of populist rhetoric and populist action, which is a resentment against the elites. There were people 8 years ago who were torn between voting for Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Left, right, left, and yet there's a commonality that both of them spoke about taking on the elites. Now we got to figure out who are the elites and who are these people that we don't want running our society. Is it going to be the folks with the billions of dollars who are attached to the hip with Donald Trump, who only want to make more money? Or is it going to be perhaps some people with a lot of money but believe in social justice? And they are resented as elites from the right.
Well, many of these boomers who are now in charge in Congress, they grew up during the turbulent 60s and 70s. And it seems like they have a resentment from that time period, that they want to take it all back, that it was a great injustice having all of those individuals win their, what they believed in, women's liberation, birth control, Roe v. Wade, the sexual revolution, and the anti-war movement. They thought that they lost this and they want to get it back. Do you feel that way?
All right, so in the 60s, and as the war in Vietnam expanded in 65, 66, 67, one of the observations I made in criticism of the so-called greatest generation, because that greatest generation perpetuated Jim Crow laws and perpetuated racism, perpetuated the exploitation of other countries, and in my judgment, weren't so great. They were fortunate enough to have been born at a time to combat the Great Depression and fascists, but there's a lot of bad things that came from that generation. So our generation was the victims of the Vietnam War, and what I said and observed at the time is it was going to split our generation forever, and it has. And so you've got baby boomers who can trace their roots back to Vietnam, overlay that with the civil rights movement, and out of that comes two very, very different views of this nation and what it ought to be. And it's perfectly manifested in somebody like a Bill Clinton or a Joe Biden and by a Donald Trump. And that battle, unfortunately, is not over.
Right.
We had some victories along the way in terms of a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. We had victories in terms of the civil rights movement and voting. But Donald Trump and Republicans all over the country are turning back that legislation of the 60s.
Mm-hmm. We're talking with former mayor of Madison, Paul Soglin, and let's go local here for a minute. Any thoughts of running for mayor again? You've been mayor 3 different times in your life for several terms.
Tell you, people said to me, particularly during COVID, they'd say to me, I suppose you're really glad you're not there right now. And actually, there's parts of it that I miss. I miss the staff. I miss the teams that we put together to tackle serious problems and solving those problems. Then I wake up on a Wednesday morning and I read about a city council meeting, or maybe I have to wait till Thursday because it went till 4 a.m. And I think about the city council, and I know I am in a great place right now.
That's what I always think when I think of the city council.
You shared with
and
us.
Let me just say, there's about 5 or 6 members of the council that I really respect.
All right.
There are.
All right, good.
5 or 6.
You got that
That's
in.
it. Okay.
Get credit for that.
You mentioned while we were off the air for a few minutes that you're putting your memoirs together. You've been working on this for a while.
I've been working on this. I'm not as aggressive a writer as one ought to be.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that somebody a little more serious than myself would have finished in about 2 years, and we're in about year 5 or 6 now. I can't remember.
That happens.
But I've got 5 friends who are writers who have been reading each chapter as it finally comes out. They give me their feedback, their comments. Now I'm in the process, actually, of the second major rewrite or edit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, here's what happened. As I wrote the book, I finished up, I said, there's some themes in here, dealing with immigration, dealing with civil rights, dealing with populism that have just naturally come, but I haven't tied it together. So I had to go all the way back from the beginning and sort of bring those themes together.
So you expect that'll be out later
About
this
47 years.
Well, we'll have to wait, I guess.
Well, you're going to have to add a whole new page after being on the program.
There you
this
go.
morning. I was going to say, the impact. We were talking earlier about Biden stepping down. One of the things I like to think that he finally put in place an infrastructure repair bill that this country so needed for so many years. We needed to put some money back into the system and fix things up for the current generation, the Gen Zers. We need to fix it up so they didn't have to spend their money on it. And we finally went ahead and did something.
The morning after Donald Trump was elected, I was asked to comment about the prospects of a Trump presidency. And I tried to find a silver lining in the cloud. And I said, well, he's talked about public investment in infrastructure. Maybe we'll get something out of that. Well, I'm glad I didn't hold my breath.
Right.
But the kind of effort that Biden led and achieved really was recognized in the early 1990s. And so it took close to 30 years for a president to finally achieve, and it only scratches the surface.
Right.
It's not just about roads and bridges. It's about waterways and just public schools, everything.
The future of energy.
Yeah, we've been, this last 40, 50 years, we've probably been more lackadaisical about public investment in infrastructure than any time in this nation's history. We could spend. You want to go 2 hours?
Well, can you?
Let's go
maybe not 2 hours, but can you stay with us another few minutes, Paul?
Sure.
All right. Yeah.
It is 7:49. We're visiting with former Madison Mayor Paul Soglin. We'll be back with more on the John and Gordy Show. Just a moment. FM WMDX, the John and Gordy Show, is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. Find them on Madison's east and west sides or online at verlo.com.
Our special guest, former Mayor Paul Soglin, in the studio this morning. We're asking a few important questions here on the show, and one is, do you hate it when people walk up to you and say hello to you because they recognize you? Does it disrupt your life in any way, shape, or form? Because I saw you at Woodman's and I was afraid to walk up to you and ask you to be on the show.
The only time it bothers me is if they say, hello, Dr. Pastor, or they think I'm Marshall Shapiro, my dear friend who owned the Nitty Gritty, who passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, Marsh Shapiro, yeah, and Dr. Zorba Pastor.
Right.
Yeah. You do have a resemblance to Zorba.
We have mustaches.
Paul, how do you spend your days now?
Yeah.
You're mostly
besides
retired?
shopping at Woodman's.
Besides shopping at Woodman's, I work out 3 days a week when in a class. My wife and I try to go to the pool for 1 or 2 hours every day, if it's, as we call it, a pool day. I try and spend a couple hours writing. During the summers, I manage my fantasy baseball team. We're in first place this year, so far.
Okay.
Got a long way to go. Keeping tabs of what our daughters are up to.
You a big Cub fan?
Pardon?
Are you a Cub fan?
No. I grew up on the South Side. White Sox.
White Sox. I was going to say
White Sox.
Hyde Park. Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's that, and then I follow what's going on in local government and try not to tear my hair out.
Well, you're not afraid to make a few comments occasionally about some things that are happening in Madison.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the middle of winter. We got nailed with 2 or 3 snowstorms, and there was some snow laying around for seemed like a long time. And you had some comments about how the city handled that.
Well, what's happened in the last 4 or 5 years is there's been shall we say, a dumbing down of city services, whether it's snow removal, for folks who take items, waste to the drop-off sites. The drop-off sites are open half as many hours as they were,
which is
5,
really
6
bad.
years ago.
Yeah.
Especially if you work all week and you want to go there on a Sunday.
Yep.
So you got those kinds of problems. And what disturbs me about it is not so much the fact that they're being dumbed down as much as the fact that it's happening and people are not cognizant of it, that the city council is not aware of it. I was with a council member a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you took 3 votes to adopt the budget. That's 3 are required for what they did. And I said, the first vote you took was to adopt the budget, which is required by law. The second vote you took was to adopt the levy limit, which is required by law. And I said, did you know what the third vote was, the one that was a 3/4 vote? And this person did not know what it was. Mm-hmm. And my guess is that probably 3/4 of the council doesn't know what that 3/4 vote is and why it's necessary in these budget times. There's been a whole change in process. I come from what I call the Tom Sawyer School of Management, which is you got a fence that needs to be painted and it probably needs repair. So you can either do it yourself, or what you do is you engage a whole lot of folks and get them to do it. And not only do you get to sit on the sidelines and watch, but they now take ownership in the fence. They're protectors of the fence. They are going to be really cognizant.
Invested in it.
They're vested in it, exactly.
Yeah.
So for that to happen, it means you have to give up control. You're going to have to give up control, and that could be messy, could be sloppy, and you might end up with an outcome you don't like. They may paint it a different color. They may put flowers on it when you wanted frogs. But in the end, overall, I think that process is far superior to the process we've seen now, whether we're talking about buses, whether we're talking about housing, whether we're talking about city finance, which is for everything to be fashioned administratively from the top between the mayor's office and the city departments. And then, sure, it's democratic, but then it's presented to the people to respond to.
Mm-hmm.
And responding is a far weaker position in terms of determining outcome than is actually building it, actually fashioning it. And like I said, if you let people take control, you don't necessarily get what you want. But in the outcome, I think everything's overall is better.
You were talking about the transit plans, BRT, and you mentioned something about regional transit authorities. Aren't those banned by the state now?
The state, to create an RTA,
Mm-hmm.
the legislature has to act and give you the legislative authority to do it. It's been done for Milwaukee. There's been 2 cities in the state in the last decade or two that have wanted it. One is Appleton, the other is Madison. Jim Doyle had the legislation in place, was ready to work on it. He leaves office, and basically what happened was Scott Walker, that was the guy who succeeded him.
Yeah.
Walker dismantled all of that. Now's the time to bring it back. And
yes,
this is critical. I don't think we can assume, in fact, we should not assume, that Republicans in the legislature, including Robin Voss, are going to say no. That is a very faulty assumption.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I'm optimistic.
Well, I am now. I didn't think they'd ever pass anything to help this governor out. Give him one win. Impossible, but okay. Well, we'll look forward to that attempt anyway.
Paul, we are all out of time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's been a long time since we've done this before, since we never have.
Yeah.
Let's try it again.
We'd
love to have you
have
back.
to do that. Yeah.
Love
I want
to
to
have you
find
back.
out about the 60s, some of the groups you knew, hung out with, some of the stories.
Thank you, Paul Soglin. We'll talk to you again
Thank you,
soon.
guys.
All right.
All right. That's going to do it for the John and Gordy Show for this Monday. We will be back bright and early, 6 a.m. tomorrow
sure?
morning. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
okay,
I think
we'll
so.
try to make it.
All right. And have a great day. So long.
Yep, you too.
John and Gordy Show.
John and Gordy in the morning.
As we were saying,
Let the sun shine.
it's the John and Gordy Show.